Good morning and welcome all of you. This is the first of our inaugural symposium, and I want to welcome every one of you, friends, colleagues, partners. In particular, I want to invite, on behalf of our SilTerra management team, I want to welcome our chairman from SilTerra, Mr. Adin Jajis. It is his inspiration that encouraged us to be the new SilTerra. But more importantly today, I want to acknowledge and welcome our partner, IMEC, because without which this event would really not be the same. And it's the long history of working with IMEC that make this possible and also help SilTerra become the company that we want to be. Okay? Now, the purpose of this symposium really is entitled Semiconductors in Life Sciences. So, what does it actually mean, semiconductors and life sciences? I remember when I was a kid, we get told, don't mix water with electricity. Disaster. Life sciences is mostly liquids and bio stuff. Semiconductors are electricity. So what does it mean, putting these two things together? So I did some research learning about that because I'm an electronics engineer. Then I find out all these new words. And try to, how do we put these things together? You know, how is a nucleotide going to match with a silicon nanowire? How is antibodies going to be working with MEMS? So these are words that I want to just set in place, that this is the topic and why we're here today and what we've been embarking on. The end is what we can feel, more importantly, what we can touch in the areas of medical, biomedical, environmental, food and agriculture, amongst others. I just put those 4 categories to give you an idea. So those are the things that we associate with as humans. Not with life sciences or semiconductors, but they affect us every day. How we use this today, how technology is moving forward to enable better ways of dealing with these topics. That is the subject of today's symposium. We've got a group of people together, and including you, the audience, invited to hear what we believe is the path where we all need to be. So, let's look at some of the pieces that need to be put together, since we are all technology people, technical, and you are involved in different parts of it. We're talking about medical, biomedical researchers, antibody suppliers. Wow, I didn't realize, besides me walking around supplying myself with antibodies, there are other people providing those too. Okay, product developers we know of, semiconductor fabs, that's us, IC designers and providers, some of you in the audience do that. Packaging, some of you in here too. Manufacturers, regulators. Anything to do with health, food, there will need to be regulation. Health practitioners, surgeons, doctors, some of you biochemists. All these need to be put together. That is the ecosystem that we're talking about, without which we are all silos. Every one of us are in our own area. But to make this industry, to make this set of technology happen, we need to work together. So as I speak to some of you speakers to come and invite you to attend, some of you mentioned to me, this is unusual, having a designer come in together with a biochemist in the same conference. We have conferences with biochemists and antibodies. We have designers, we have conferences on how we do the latest modeling techniques. Putting all this together is different. So I want to set the stage today that you're going to be hearing a lot of very different topics. Some you're familiar with, others you may not be. We've also provided a lot of time for networking. Okay. What SilTerra is, let me do a little bit of introduction. We are a fab, wafer fab, 200 millimeters, 8 inch, and we are only one segment in the value chain, which is doing wafers. The rest of you have to be in the design side, packaging, test, and markets. When we talk about medical, biomedical, environmental, all that, that's the end markets. Most of us read about IoT. Most of us read about all these advanced portable medical equipment. That's the end. You need a chain to bring it out. SilTerra, being a wafer manufacturer, we produce those chips. But we need the designers to think what to design. If you're a device manufacturer at that end, and you buy chips from someone else, you can be sure you're not the first, second, or third, because the person who's supplying the chips will probably be already sampling it with maybe 10 other companies. By the time you get that device, you're part of the rest. To be first, you have to create your own design. And that's the reason why we partner with IMEC and people like you. SilTerra is looking at new technologies. In the past, our core technologies is on the left. CMOS logic, RF CMOS, mixed signal, high voltage, and those associated with it. We're moving into more and more technologies, and that's the area where we're talking about. You will hear some of that, but our focus today is in the life sciences, the one in the furthest right, and hence this symposium. Okay. You will also see that with the combination of those, you can develop IoT devices. But remember, IoT, if you use components from other people, your product will be limited in terms of size, because it cannot be smaller than all the components added together. But if you put it together as a chip, it can be smaller. That's the value add for SilTerra. So, what we have today is a story for all of you. We start with the big picture this morning, the promise of nanoelectronics in the next generation of healthcare. Then, mid-morning, we'll be talking about making it happen. It is real. SilTerra has been involved in this and been doing it. And we're moving further. And we'll have speakers to tell you about just what is happening. It's not just slides, it's not just what you read, it's happening. Healthcare. After lunch, we'll be talking about specifically the healthcare side. That's where all of the antibodies will come in, and how we put these things together. So you'll have some fairly technical stuff, and we have invited people, researchers from actually around the world, to present some of their work. And finally, you get a glimpse of some of the real products today. So you have to wait till the end to see the really exciting stuff. What's happening, what you can actually get today. Okay? So that, in a nutshell, is what we have for today, the presentation and the symposium.